The Speaker recognizes the Honorable Doug Geiss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. September 11th, 2001, 9/11. That was the day I first appeared on a ballot for elected office. I remember standing at the polls as parents rushed to school to get their children, fearful of what the day had in store for them. That is how I began my political career over 13 years ago. It was the primary election day in Taylor, Michigan, and despite the turmoil of that day, Taylor City Clerk Dorothy R. West conducted a flawless election, as many clerks throughout our state and our nation did. I often look back at that day, what it meant at the time, what it meant in the days that followed, what it means today. Simply put, we are a nation at odds over minutia, and yet we are united in our common principles: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let no man nor woman come between us and our shared goals, the betterment of our free society. Like family members who quarrel, let no person speak ill of any in our family, lest they feel the full wrath of our united spirit. We, as the Michigan legislature, have faced these same issues, these same debates. We have quarreled on the merits of an issue, but yet we have remained strong in our defense of our state, of our family. Let no person speak ill of our homeland. Let no person try to harm our brethren. In that, we are united, always. The issues of the day are what we have been brought together to discuss, to debate, to reconcile. And that, my colleagues, is how I will frame these last 6 years. Not fights, but debates. Of votes won and of votes lost. In the end, we are all Michiganders. We love our state. We are all brothers and sisters, and I appreciate your camaraderie, your friendship, and our time together in this sacred hall. Given that heavy introduction, let me lighten the mood. I am not perfect. You are not perfect. We are gifted by those who we surround ourselves with. The people who have done the heavy lifting, who have helped the people we represent to traverse this crazy maze we call state government, our staff, or, as I've always said, my team. For I've never tried to place myself over those who work day in and day out to resolve the issues of my constituents. I have been blessed that in my 6 years of public office here, I've only employed 3 individuals: Beth Berglund, formerly Beth Bennett, Tim Mischling, and Mark Lawrence. Beth was my first hire. She provided strength and continuity for my district, having worked for my predecessor. She helped me lay down the foundation for my office, for what was expected, for what was to be delivered. Then we set out to fill our team. We solicited resumes, we conducted interviews, and then there was the most perfect cover letter you've ever seen. Someone who you wondered, why are they interested in working in state government? With multiple degrees from the University of Michigan and elsewhere, Tim Mischling was certainly overqualified. Principal oboist for the Ann Arbor Symphony and Michigan Philharmonic. Professor at Oakland University and U of M Flint. Family from Taylor. A definite hire. So we set out to do the work of the people together. It was only after the meager pay of a legislative employee got in the way that Beth chose to move on. I was tasked with finding her replacement, and in that process found Mark Lawrence. Mark, as a state graduate, was suspect. But given his previous work for the House and the strong constituent skills, I am very glad in making him part of the team. Mark Lawrence has been a trusted voice during my time in the House. So in 6 years, I have only had 3 people work on my team. I could not have done it without them or the numerous interns such as Rick, Adam, and Zoe. Thank you all. And then there are my colleagues. 6 years ago, we began this journey together. Of the 45 who took office for the first time in 2009, only 29 are on the floor here today. 4 have chosen to run and win for other offices, but 12 of our colleagues did not complete this 6-year journey. Reps Bledsoe, DeShazer, Haas, Huckleberry, Kennedy, Liss, Nerat, R. Schmidt, Scott, Scripps, Slezak, and J to the Womack. So of those that remain here today, it is a special honor to have served together for 6 years. leaving not because we were unpopular back home, but due to term limits. The very law that in many ways allowed us to serve here. What a conundrum. So let me share a few words about each. Woodrow Stanley, the man who always had my back, literally and figuratively. Harold Hall, a friend to all. I would hope that I rank amongst the top. Andrew Candrevas, my downriver amigo and fellow U of M alumnus, the man you always want ordering for you, a true foodie. Rashida Tlaib, tenacious with a T. David Nathan, the man who would be all in with a 2 and a 7, off-suited, and win. Vicki Barnett, the Jewish mother to us all, with words of wisdom and oftentimes, for those on the other side of the aisle, a stern scolding. Hugh Crawford, run my darn bill, the Constitution will not fall. Kevin Daly and Ken Kurtz, the true latter-day odd couple of the Agriculture Committee. I took this out of what will be printed in the journal, but I said get a room, but that won't be in the official record. Bob Janetsky, next time you're at Metro Airport in Detroit, give me a call. Glad to help you out a few years ago. Gail Haynes, who in their right mind would do gymnastics at the top of the Mackinac Bridge? Only Gail. Joe Hobman, how can the calmest guy in this body have heart problems? Wish you, and again off the record, I hope for the best for Joe, always. Ellen Cogan-Lipton, what took you so long joining the Ed Committee? She's been just an absolute dynamo. Ellen Cole, who's going to keep an eye on Mike? Bill Rogers, Mr. Bipartisan. Cindy Demby, you would have made an awesome chairwoman. Wayne Schmidt, can they put our names on rusted out license plates? Matt Laurie, the mustache still says sheriff even after 6 years in the House. Pete Lund, I beat you to the front page of the Drudge Report. Kate Siegel, Madam Floor Leader, you will do well. Tom McMillan, from time to time, I've gone so far left and you've gone so far right that we ended up in the same spot. Who would have thought? Diane Slavens, it has been my honor representing Van Buren Township with you. Jim Stamas, it was great watching you gain your footing and become commanding as floor leader. John Switalski, always in that John F. Kennedy contemplative pose. John Walsh, the same person from day one, always calm and friendly. Jace Bolger, I think your brother got the better deal from his time working here. And finally, Fred Durhall, I never knew you were on appropriations. Really? You never mentioned that. But downriver is still down, my friend. Let me also thank the Democratic leadership I have served under, Speaker Dillon, Madam Floor Leader Anger, Democratic Leader Hamill, Democratic Leader Grimel, Democratic Floor Leaders Hobbs and Rutledge. Thank you for your service. I could go on about everyone here and those who I've served with, and that is what is unique about this place. When we come here, we are exposed to more new coworkers than at almost any time in our lives. The only comparisons might be the first day of kindergarten or a freshman year in college. And like those times, it is the fond memories we made here that will endure. With time, the fact that you had to study in school and work hard to get good grades is replaced by memories of the events you shared with the people you met at school. Here, too, as the years go on, it is the connection to every corner of the state, your stories about your districts, the issues you face that have truly put a face and a name to all parts of this state. I am hopeful, likewise, that you will think of me when you travel through Detroit Metro Airport in Romulus, when you visit Taylor for a hockey tournament, when you see the growing township of Van Buren. It has been my pleasure to represent the largest populated district in Wayne County, to work on issues that affected them, like authoring the Signature Public Act for the creation of 5 Next Michigan Development Corporations, including the Vanageport Aerotropolis at Detroit Metro. As you travel on I-94 near exit 200, you will see a blue sign honoring fallen Auxiliary Lieutenant Officer Dan Cromer. When you reach the big blue bridge at Telegraph Road and I-94 in Taylor, please know that you helped me honor Taylor's first fallen officer, Corporal Matthew Edwards, by naming Telegraph Road in his honor. And yes, when you see the growing beer, wine, and other fermentable businesses in Michigan, realize that many of those brewers were helped by the home brewers legislation you helped me pass. While it did not seem vitally important to some at the time, this year 3,000 home brewers from across the U.S. and beyond traveled to Grand Rapids for the National Homebrewers Convention, spending over $3 million during the convention, with many, after their first visit to their state, vowing to return for future travels. That convention could not have taken place without your support of my law. After today's session, it is my hope that you'll join me in living out Tip O'Neill's philosophy that we should be able to passionately debate the issues, legislate by day, and share a drink at night. For those that are able to come, Erica, my lovely wife, and soon-to-be colleague of those returning members, will be joining us. And in speaking of Erica, let me say that this institution and the people of the 12th House District could not have a more able public servant. She breaks new ground locally for being the first female representative for Ramos and Taylor, but more so, she is an amazing human being, and I know at the end of 6 years here, God willing, you'll all understand what I saw 24 years ago when I first met her. There are so many others that make this institution run. The clerks, the sergeants, the policy staff, and caucus staff, they are the glue to this institution. Thank you. But at this point, I may have gone on too long. Not Tim Melton long, but long enough. And again, I'm going to go off the record. I always kept that 14-minute shot clock that Tim Melton was allowed to speak, and was always wondering if the speaker would gavel me down, but I never could speak longer than 14 minutes, so never got gavelled. And thank you for that. In closing, let me paraphrase my good friend, the former clerk of the United States House of Representatives, Donald K. Anderson. My heart is filled with happy reflections of the years I've spent with you. A deep sense of fulfillment and profound gratitude for your confidence and your friendship. Indeed, I am grateful above all to the one nation which affords opportunity for an ordinary citizen to achieve extraordinary responsibility. You will remain constantly in my thoughts and in my prayers, that God will bless each of you in the work which you are about, and may He forever prosper this house and the state of Michigan and the United States of America. I bid you an affectionate farewell.